Hi everyone. So I have exciting news. I told you one day I'm going to hit the button and things are going to be different. So, oh my gosh, this was back beginning of April. God had led me to submit an entry into a cooking competition. I've never done anything like this in my entire life. Like, I've never, ever, ever participated in any type of competition. I have been told that my cooking is amazing and it's really good. And I'm just now realizing that, wow, I have lost quite a bit of weight. Um, God had, like, recently just the weight came off. I'm in a size medium now, and I haven't been in a size medium since I was in high school. Oh my gosh, there's just so much has changed, yet everything still seems the same. In physical eyes, everything's the same. I'm still working at the same place, I'm still living in the same room, um, but everything's different. Like, I feel different. I can't explain it. I actually was crying a few minutes ago because I had this overwhelming sense that my relationship with God is about to change. Not in the sense of I'm not going to have one, but it's not going to be the same. Because once my husband comes into the picture, it has to change because now it is going to be my husband who is going to lead me. And so I have to prepare my heart to receive that change. And I was crying. I was like, I don't want to change my relationship with you. I want it to be just you and me. I didn't even, like, I've known that this is going to happen. Like, it has to happen because this is the way God intended it for it to always be. But my spirit cried out to God saying, no, I don't want it to change. I want to stay just like this. And God's like, I'm sorry, it can't change. It can't stay like this because that's not how I intended it to be. So I started crying, like just this emotionally charged cry, but not of a loss. It was a cry of change. And so I understand that things are going to change, and I've been hearing it from different prophets, from different people who have gone through a marriage or gone through a God-led marriage, that the relationship of the woman with God changes because they are now led by their husbands. But in the meantime, he's teaching me how to continue ensuring that my husband is leading me in the path of God so that I'm not going to be led astray, because this time there's no coming back if I walk away from God. So I'm just like, okay, I'm paying attention, I'm listening, and this happened yesterday as I was going about my day. Like, I've been hearing that I have been approved. I'm getting a yes. And I was like, approved? Yes. And so I thought of the interviews that I've had. I'm like, oh, I'm going to get the job. Nowhere in my peripheral was this contest that I entered into. Nowhere. Like, I was not expecting it. Expect the unexpected. So I'm going through my day, and this happened around 2 o'clock, right after the manager sent home the other counter person. And all of a sudden, God leads me to check my phone. So I grab my phone. I don't get text messages. I don't get messages from people. I just, throughout my day, I don't have to worry about checking my phone every few minutes because, I think somebody, no, God leads me, check your phone, and then it's usually a prophetic word, or it's something that I need to go and do something later. But never anything important. Or not that it's not important, but never anything that has to do with me specifically. Like it's always a word, or it's always guidance or information that I'm going to have revealed to me. But it never is personal impact, okay? It's and so they send it to me two ways. They send it to me in an email, and they sent me a text message saying, "Congratulations, you have been selected." And I'm looking at it going, huh? I've been selected. Like it didn't click right away. Like all of a sudden I was like, oh, what? I've been chosen? Like, wait, how did I get chosen? Like, what did, and I'm like, thank you. Because I know it was him. I know it was God. Like, I am floored, okay? So then I realized, oh my gosh, I don't know what this means. I don't know exactly. I'm like, well, I better prepare my boss. And I said, hey, so a while ago, earlier in April, I submitted an entry into a cooking contest, and I've been selected. And he just looked at me, and he's like, what do you mean you've been selected? I'm like, yeah, the pictures of the food that I submitted, they were chosen as one of the finalists. And he's like, what does this mean? Like, when do you have to travel? How many days are you going to be gone? Because he knows competitions, like the ones we've seen on TV, the people get pulled into these contests, and now they're cooking for people, and they're doing it for, a few weeks at a time. And I said, I don't know all the details. All I know is that I've been selected. I said I have to finish my entry form and then continue that way. And they're like, okay. So then I went to go tell Ben, the delivery driver. It wasn't who I thought was going to be so he's not a counterfeit, but he's an option. But I can tell he's not there yet. So if I choose him, it's going to be a lot longer. I'm going to have to wait for him to be ready. God will get him ready, but it's going to take time. So I might be waiting for another year. The man that God has for me, God's choice for me, he's ready, but he's not here with me. I'm interacting with this man. So I have a choice to make. Am I going to wait for the man that God has for me to step into the picture? Because it's not long. It's not going to be long. God said, once things start to take off, they're going to be coming swiftly. They're going to be coming one on the back of another, and it's going to make my head spin. And this man has already declared himself, even though he doesn't realize he has. Because when I'm around him, I can't help it. It's not that I'm trying to, but I can't explain it. It's like I'm a teenager again. And I'm constantly asking God to protect my heart, to protect me, to ensure that I'm not walking ahead of him, to ensure that I'm staying within his steps. Because I can see how easily it would be for my flesh to just jump in, because it does. Whenever he's around, it's like, yeah. And I'm like, what is wrong with me? this is not who I am. And even he gets like that around me. And he doesn't understand what's going on. And so he's a delivery driver. And he was a manager back in the day. And he decided to step down being a manager and be just a delivery driver. I was a GM, what Will is, and I left that role because my children asked me to be home more. So God led me in other directions. And so I have. I went and I did go in a different direction now than the restaurant. But it's always been a dream of mine to be a chef. Okay? And God has been putting things in my path to continue my growth in culinary cooking. From watching Gordon Ramsay, watching Chef Pepin, watching Julia Childs, watching just all of these great cooks and learning techniques from them. But God doesn't allow me to use their techniques. He's teaching me his techniques. And there are days where he'll, like the entries that I did were pictures of meals I've done in the past. And what I'm going to make tonight for another to take pictures, and then God is leading me to do pictures in different cooking of the process of the cooking. So he's gonna have me take pictures of that, and then he showed me the name of the meal that I'm preparing tonight. Because I've been thinking about it. I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to make. So I asked, let me back up. So this man, okay, we have this rapport about his deliveries. And I tell him, I'm going to put you to work. I'm going to keep you out on the road and you're not going to be here very much. And he goes, good. Because that's what I want. I want to be working. I want to be making my money. And I'm like, oh, that's all you care about is your money? And I understand that God is using me to lead him to God. Because God has me singing gospel songs. He has me, like, this is not at all fleshly. Like, I can feel my flesh wanting to get ahead of God. And I have to pull it in. I have to reel it in. And I have to squash it and say, no, you're not going to go ahead of God. You're not going to use your manipulation. You're not going to use your sexuality to bring this man to God. What is going to bring this man to God is showing him the love of God. Showing him the worth of a woman that is godly. So remember, there is a first redeemer. And when the first redeemer decides that, no, I want to stay where I'm at. I want my current. And he's at that point. He's at that edge where he's deciding whether or not to take the leap. But God already knows what he's going to decide. That's why there's this other man, the better choice, the Boaz. Because this man is going to be the godly man, the one that God has prepared and has prepared me for. But if I enter into a covenant with this other man, with the first redeemer, without God, because God's told me, these are your choices, these two men. I'm like, okay, but I don't, no. I don't want to step outside of your will. I don't want to be ahead of you. I want to be in line with you. I want to have you choose for me what you want for me. And Religious people, they're not going to understand. People who are walking still in their flesh are not going to understand. They're going to look at me and they're going to say, no, she's trying to get this man. She's trying to get both. And it's like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Do I feel giddy? Yes, I do. Do I feel, but I'm still, I can't explain it. It's part of the virtue of being a woman. He's not, so if I was in my flesh, this man would have already tried to kiss me. He hasn't. I don't put myself in a position where my flesh can lead. We are still very much co-workers, and but I have seen him make mentally the steps, and he's at that edge where he has to either A, change his entire lifestyle and return to God, or B, stay in the world. Either way, time is ticking, and he's going to have to make that, he is going to have to make the walk back to God, one way or another, because he is chosen. And I was chosen for him, but he's not God's choice, because he's not ready yet. Prophetic. It's my life is prophetic. It speaks about how God works. And so it was an evening. It was around 7 or 8 o'clock at night, and I got a delivery. And it's always the party houses, or the houses that are like right outside of our delivery area. And then I make sure that they're going to give him a good tip. And so I went to him and I'm like, hey, so I got you this order, this delivery. I said, it's a party, so you're going to have to work your magic to get a little bit extra. I said, but they already gave you a tip. And he goes, oh, really? So how much is my tip? And I'm like, it was $20. And he's like, wow, well, let's keep them coming. I'm like, okay. And as he was getting ready to leave, I went up to him and I said, okay, I got you the $20. Now you got to make sure you serve them correctly and that you make them happy. And he goes, of course. And he turns around and he starts speaking to the spirits. And he's like, this is my girl. This is my girl. This is my girl. And he said it 4 times. And I was like, no, sir, I'm not your girl. I'm God's girl. And no. I didn't come into agreement with it, with what he was saying. And I pray to God. I'm like, God, if this is who you want me to be with, then I would accept your decision. But if this is not the man you want me to be with, then I do not come into agreement with this comment. And so I left it at that. And the next day, I could see the fight in him, because he retreated a little bit. He retreated. It's almost like he felt it in the spirit that I was like, no, I don't come into agreement. And so he's been a little bit standoffish. But God still leads me to go and speak to him. And I'm like, okay, I'll go speak to him, but I'm not in agreement with being his chosen unless you choose me for that purpose. And so I could see it. And he's been like, and he told me this yesterday morning when I walked in the store. I was like, hey, Benners, 'cause that's what I call him. I call him Benners. I'm like, hey, Benners, how's it going? And he's like, and I'm like, oh, you're not speaking today? I'm like, okay. And I walked away. And God told me that he's in turmoil because he doesn't like change. He doesn't like to be pushed into change. He likes to take his time, marinate. He likes to make his decisions his way. And this is a decision he can't make his way because it has to be according to God. So if he's not going to step up and time is running out, he's got only a few more days to choose. And after that, God is going to step in and he's going to usher in the person he has for me. But he first has to give this man the opportunity to turn to him. And I have to show interest without showing interest. I'm being me. I am showing my light. He is getting to see the brightness of my light. I am not going up to him and batting my eyes or rubbing up against him or doing any of the sexual things that I would have done, well, that I would have thought of doing back in the day when I was still in the world. I've never been a forward kind of woman. Like, it's not in me to do that. But I do understand that there are certain things women can do, even if you're not a forward kind of woman, that can give you a fleshly look, a fleshly appeal. And I've done none of that. Like, I don't go, I don't, stick out my butt so he can see it or, any of that stuff. I don't do any of that. But I do have a personality, and that I let, God said, do not hide anymore. I created you to shine, and I want you to shine. So that's what I do. I shine. I shine as bright as I can. I show everything God has put inside of me. And he led me recently to go sign up at a gym, Planet Fitness. It's on the path of where I take my bus to get to work and home. So on days where I work at 10, I am going to stop in the morning. I'm going to leave like I would if I was going in at 9, and I'm going to go into the fitness center and I'm going to work out. God has already started me on putting together my routine of what I'm going to do. It's a routine I used to have when I was going to the gym regularly when I was married. And now that I'm being sent back to the gym, and he prepared me. He told me, you're going to go back to the gym. But he needed me to be at a certain weight before I start going back to the gym. When I put on those medium-sized shorts, so I went from an extra large to a large, and I've been wearing a large, and God has been telling me, you need smaller clothes. You don't fit into these anymore. They're falling. And I was like, I don't want to wear the mediums. They're going to be way too tight. And he's like, no, they're not. So I went looking for some shorts, and they didn't have my size that I was looking for. And God says, look for a medium. And I said, they don't have one. They have the small, they have the large, and they have the extra large. They have the triple extra large. And I said, but those are too big. And as I was walking past another rack, he goes, aren't those medium? And aren't those the same shorts you were just looking at? And I was like, thank you, God. So I bought the shorts. I did not try them on. He goes, don't worry, they'll fit. I put them on to go to work the next day. They fit. I mean, they're just a little bit tight, but they fit. As I start moving around and they start working in, they fit. They fit. So now God has me going to the gym because he wants me to tone up the skin now that I've lost weight. And I haven't weighed myself, but to fit into a medium, I've got to be down into the 145, 150 range, which means that to get to 125 where I was in high school, it's full circle. This is like, I feel like I'm in high school. I worked at Peter Piper Pizza when I was in high school. I was 17 years old when I started at Peter Piper. That was 30 years ago, 31 years ago, because I'm 48. That was 31 years ago that I started working at Peter Piper. Full circle moments. Full circle moments. And I was actually 47 when I started working at Burroughs. So that would have been 30 years ago, last year. I turned 48 working. I was 18 when I met my ex-husband. So, yes, full circle moments. My life has come full circle. So now it's like all of the things that Lucifer put in my path to trip me up, to stop me from following God's path, have now been removed. And now here I am, back at square one. And I'm following God's guidance. I'm doing what God wants me to do. He says, go buy this bag, go buy that bag. In fact, I bought a similar bag to the one I had when I was in high school. My backpack is a JanSport. It doesn't have the real leather on the bottom like the one I owned did. But then again, this is a different type of leather. I'm not sure the kind of leather this is, but it might be faux leather. But anyway, so full circle moments. And here I am with an opportunity with a media component that I was not expecting. He is going to thrust me into the light. Ready or not. It's one thing to have this platform on YouTube and speak about the things that God is doing in my life and provide testimony on the things that God has done in my life. But now, and remember, I told you, He's going to bring a lot more people to this channel. Now, whether it's this channel or the website, I don't know. But I have a feeling it's going to be the website because He wants there to be a different style of ministry, a different way of getting together. We're not going to block people. We are not going to push people out. If they come in with their religious spirit, if they come in with their worldly attitude, if they come in with their spirit in turmoil, we are going to receive those individuals into the fold, and we are going to pray over them, and we are going to release the spirits that are haunting them, and they are going to return to God in that moment. And we're not going to be afraid, because those of us that have been chosen for such a time as this have been doing this, have been preparing for this from the beginning of our walk. That is why our strives have been different from all the other prophets, from all the other disciples that God has harnessed. Because He has created warriors who are going to not just pray over people, but they are not going to let up. They're basically going to grab these people in the spirit, and they're going to force these spirits to leave. And no longer will these individuals be plagued by the spiritual hardships that they have been going through. And instead, their vessels will be cleansed and they will be ready for God. That is what he's been showing me. That is where we're going to be going. All the work that we've been doing, all of the things that we've been going through, this is all preparation. The doubt, the unworthiness, the feelings of not being ready, the feelings of, are you sure I'm the one? Are you sure this is for me? Are you sure you've picked the right one? That's what he needs. He needs vessels who aren't willing to take the glory, who are willing to step back into the darkness and say, Father, let it be you. Let it be you who comes through, not me. For I am in the shadows. You are the light. You shine through. You come through, not me. And he will receive the glory. He will receive every victory. And we will be vindicated. We will be praised in his glory. Not for us, but for him. You know, I don't seek the light. I don't seek to be in front of the camera. I would have been very happy being behind the scenes. And he knows that. And he said, no more. I don't want you behind the scenes. You've hid long enough. I want you in the center. I want you in the front. And I'm like, but God, I'm just me. Who am I to be in front of anything? And he continues to tell me, because you're the vessel that allows me to do whatever I want, however I want, whenever I want. And you don't question me. You just follow me. Fear and all, you follow me. And I'm like, I have no choice. As scary as it is, I don't want to be without you. Because I know that if I die, the glory will be in being in your presence, feeling you, and being with you, being one with you once more. That is more important to me than any worldly thing that you could possibly give me here on earth. Being back in the fold with you, being in the light with you, that is my only dream. That is my only want. That is my only desire, to be one with you.